It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah.
My favorite.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Thanks for joining us in the 8 o'clock hour. Joining us now is the radio play-by-play voice of the Utah Mammoth, Mike Folta. Mike, I am still coming down from that game 4. In fact, I'm hydrating myself because I think I was dehydrated. Right now, as you tell us how you're doing, I'm going to take a swig of my Propel.
Well, I need some coffee, some Red Bull. Didn't even go to sleep, PK. Just pulled an all-nighter. Wasn't sure how many overtimes we were going to have. So just kept the candle burning. Thought, why not? Let's just keep it rolling into Game 5. What a scene at the Delta Center last night. No, it didn't go in Utah's favor, but it was an unbelievable game for a sports fan, a hockey fan. The Mammoth erase a 3-0 deficit. They come all the way back. They have a lead. We go to overtime. There's a goal called back. There's new life in overtime, and then Vegas does score to win it. And just quite honestly, PK, some emotions I'm not sure I've felt before working in this industry in that Game 4, and certainly with Utah, with how close things were and the intensity that we reached. But it was a heck of an evening. Mammoth Nation was unbelievable, powering Utah in that comeback, and now it's a best of 3 series heading to Vegas for Game 5.
You know, obviously we are still in the infancy stage of NHL hockey in Utah, but if you're looking to sell the product, now obviously a win would have sold it better, but the next best thing, my gosh, was the game that you could possibly, I don't even know that you could dream it up. The way that started, the middle of it, and the way it ended. And even before when it ended, about halfway through the overtime, was it a goal, wasn't it? And they have the replay, and everybody's super excited there. I mean, in terms of a marketing ploy, outside of winning, which is ultimately what matters, in terms of excitement, I don't know that you could have sold anything better as a new sport here in the state of Utah.
No, it was our first taste of overtime in the playoffs, and it's a Monday night. It's a Monday night, and it's 11:30 or whatever it is, and everybody's still, having a ball at the Delta Center and revving it up and at the edge of their seats. And the thing is, PK, like playoff overtime, it's unlike anything we get in the regular season, that's for sure. But it's also just, it's that do or die sudden death that you only get in the postseason in sports. And in hockey, you can battle for 60 minutes in the regular season, and then if you lose in overtime, you walk away saying, "Oh, well, at least we got a point in the standings."
Yeah, right.
Like not everything is lost. Whereas in the playoffs, we played 79 minutes, had guts and glory from the Utah Mammoth left and right, and the team comes away with absolutely nothing. Like it's just the emotions of that and the fear of coming away with nothing as a fan just amp up the intensity all that much more, knowing what's on the line. That was a huge game. It was it was a huge game. If the Mammoth could have found a way in overtime, then you're up 3-1 with a chance to win the series in Vegas in Game 5. But as it is, now all of a sudden you're tied 2-2 in the series, and you got to find a way to win at least one game on the road. And the Golden Knights are now rolling with momentum heading back to their home arena. So it was a huge swing game, and you can't replicate those emotions of playoff overtime without being in it.
No, I totally agree. That game itself had enough twists and turns and ups and downs and highs and lows to last an entire series, let alone one single game. You're thinking, okay, Vegas, we fooled around, and now we're done. Now we're going to put it to these upstarts, right? 3-0. You're thinking, man. And it's just the first period. Is this going to be an embarrassment here? Is it going to be such a letdown before the home crowd? And then obviously, no, not at all. And then in the span of 1 minute, less than a half a minute, that right? Once it becomes 3-2, then it's on. It is just on. Yeah. It's at that point, it's anybody's game. And sure enough, they go and take the lead. But at that point, because time and score, 1 goal, but there was plenty of time for Vegas, I thought to myself, we're going OT. Vegas is going to find a way somehow, because they're going to be the more desperate team and laying it out on the line. Somehow they're going to get something in, maybe a fluke or what have you, or a traditional boom, blast one in. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I felt at that point we were going to go to OT. What was the feeling like in the arena?
At 3-2?
No, at 4-3. When
4-3.
When
the feeling.
The Mammoth have the lead, but what I'm saying is there was enough time. It wasn't like there was 2-3 minutes to go. Yeah. My thought is, there's enough time. The way this game is gone now, it's just got to go OT. The hockey gods are demanding that it go OT.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that, because I totally agree with that. And technically, this is a blown lead loss for the Mammoth. Like, they had the lead with a lot of time left in the third, and Vegas came back to tie it. But as you said, I actually texted my buddy who was listening back in the Midwest. He was like, "Let's go! We're in the lead. We're going to win this." And I'm like, "This game is not ending at 4-3. There's no way."
Right.
So it's not.
That's what I felt.
It was not your typical blown lead. Like, there was just so much time left.
Right.
And you're not gonna make the Golden Knights flinch. Okay, like they've been down in series before. They were down 2-1 in their first round series last year and came back to win that series in Minnesota in 6 games. They won 3 in a row to advance to the next round. So they think they can do that again this year. But they've come back in games all year. They've been one of the best comeback teams throughout the season. So you're not going to get Vegas to flinch when there's a surge or when the building's on fire. But talking about feeling things we haven't felt before, when Michael Carcone tied the game at 3, and when Clayton Keller gave Utah the lead at 4, like those were 2 feelings that we hadn't got before in a Mammoth game at the Delta Center. And so those were incredible feelings that despite the loss, like, we'll get to hang on to for a little bit here. I do agree, though, and I think that I don't think anybody in the arena was like, okay, 4-3, let's kick back and just, defend the house, play prevent defense, and hold on to this lead.
Right.
There was no way that game was going to end at 4-3 one way or the other.
That's the way I felt, yeah, for sure. And I thought that. I watch the games at home because I got to get up so early in the morning that when the game ends, I need to get to bed as soon as I can. Obviously, with that being that situation. As far as now momentum, I realized that it was whoever was going to win, it was going to be dramatic. And certainly 3-1 is a lot better than 2-2. But I think it's even. Just watching the complexion of the series, the Mammoth have got to have all sorts of confidence. They've already won in Vegas. It's not like it was a fluke. You could argue they could have won, should have won Game 1. They win Game 2. Obviously, and They win game 3, could have won game 4. It's anybody's game, flip of a coin. It goes down, as you said, 79 minutes, what have you. That with that in mind, in my mind, I don't give an advantage to anybody, even though the game 5 is going back to Vegas. How do you see it?
I think it's kind of a choose your own narrative type of series, because for Vegas, they're sitting over there saying, we've carried the play the last 2 games, and we think we deserve to win game 3, but the Mammoth won. We came out and we carried the play in game 4, and we got rewarded with a victory. Now we're headed home, and we've done it before. We've come back in series a whole bunch. We're going to do it again. We're headed back to home ice. Like, we got them right where we want them right now. That's what Vegas is saying, because the series is tied 2-2, but I don't think you can look at all 4 games and say that the Golden Knights have not controlled play for a majority of the series. I think Utah was the better team in game 2. That's the only game so far where the Mammoths have dictated terms for a majority of the game. Now, Utah deserves credit. It's not a fluke that the series is tied at 2 apiece, but you look at scoring chances created, you look at the quality of scoring chances created, and Vegas has done more than the Mammoths have in that department. Now, if you're on the Utah side and you're choosing your own narrative, you can look at game 4 and say, look, we were pretty happy to just get to overtime in that game, or even have a shot in the third period. We were down 3-0 to a really good team, 26 minutes into the game? I mean, it could have gone off the rails.
Right, you could have got smoked.
Exactly. And the Mammoths gave up the third goal. It's 3-0. Logan Cooley takes a terrible penalty, and all of a sudden Vegas is on the power play, up 3 Cobb, and I'm getting ready to pull out my joke book. I'm like, we're going to have to find a way to entertain the fans on the radio, because the game itself is not going well. And what do you know? Utah gets a PK, and they fight their way back into it. So I think the Mammoths taught us something last night, that they are not afraid. They are not afraid of the moment. They are able to come back in games. And even if Vegas goes up by a goal or even 2 goals in the next game, the next couple games, this team is capable of coming back. And that's a huge piece of belief to have, and a huge piece of confidence to have for the Mammoths. Now, if they go down 3-0 in game 5, am I going to be feeling confident? No.
No, I got
It's
you.
pretty hard to erase those deficits twice in one series, but you've shown that you can do it. And I think it's a huge piece of belief to carry forward throughout the rest of the series.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Mike Folta, you hear him on the call for all the Mammoth games right here on our network. See, I can argue that, and I agree with the game 3, they were fortunate to win. Statistically, it doesn't work that way. It's like outgaining somebody in football by 300 yards and still losing. Normally there's certain stats that if you just look at a box score, you can sort of figure out who won without looking at the score. And this might have been the exception with the shot attempts and all that. But can I argue, okay, except for stretches, maybe game 2, put that aside. But other than that, the stretches of good play have just been that. They've been stretches. If this team finds a way to put together a complete game, they're fine.
And it's also a stylistic thing, too. Like, I mean, if you want to put it in football terms, you're playing against a team in Vegas that likes to control the clock. They like to run the ball. They like to have the puck on their stick. And stylistically, I'm not sure how realistic it is to think that Utah is going to outshoot Vegas in every game or outpossess Vegas in every game, because that's what the Golden Knights do. They hang on to pucks. They can wear you down in the offensive zone because they're big, and they can they can control possession. So the Mammoths have to be opportunistic in this series. That's not an accident that Utah has been able to score while not controlling a majority of possession. Last night, I think the Golden Knights had the puck in the offensive zone like 9 more minutes than Utah did.
Yeah.
That's a pretty severe difference. The Mammoths need to quell that a little bit. They need to not allow Vegas to control the puck quite as much. So look for that in Game 5. And I think Utah did a lot of good things in Game 5. It's not like they were dominating every single shift, right?
Right.
And that's the thing we have to remember. But this Golden Knights team, like they had more stretches where I was scared than Utah had stretches where I was excited, if that makes sense.
No, I got you.
I think both teams feel okay heading into Game 5. I think Vegas feels like they've got Utah right where they want them, and I think the Mammoths are thinking, hey, we've won 2 of the last 3. We've scored 4 goals each of the last 2 games, and that's maybe an X factor in this is Carter Hart, the goaltender for Vegas. He was really good in the first couple games, but now the Mammoths are starting to get a few past him. Will he lay an egg? Will he steal a game? Like, which way is his play going to swing?
What did you see them doing in that stretch where they rally down 3 that they can continue to do? What is sustainable, I guess?
Well, they got some goals. They got a gritty goal to start things out. Nick Schmaltz. They scored a couple goals off the rush as well. That was the Clayton Keller goal to give them the lead. Yeah. But they moved the puck quickly, and we talk about the Mammoth team speed, and most of the time when we mean that, we mean skating speed, which is true. The Mammoth, just in terms of a skating perspective, are one of the fastest teams in the NHL.
Right.
But team speed also means the speed with which you move the puck. The puck is going to move faster than a player ever could. And so how quickly can you move the puck and make decisions? Is it on and off your stick, or are you holding on to it, trying to make that next read? The Mammoths, when they're using that quick decision-making, they might be the fastest team in the league when you combine their speed with their decision-making. And I thought the decision-making was very quick and authoritative when Utah was coming back in the game. And you look at – I'm trying to think back. You look at all 4 goals that were scored, and there were quick passes and quick movements by the players. You also had a few guys going to the net, too, like Schmaltz and Keller driving the net on the first goal. The second goal from Ian Cole was a slap shot from the blue line, but you had Alexander Kerfoot in front of the net with a bit of a screen. Carcone, the third goal, there was more traffic in front, and he was able to fire a one-timer. Good to see him get going, by the way, because he had been quiet in the series. Yeah. He fired a one-timer through a little bit of traffic, and it got past Carter Hart. And then the fourth goal, Keller just feeds one towards the middle, and Sergachev's crashing the net, and so there's chaos. Vegas is on all sorts of disarray, and it bounces in off one of their defensemen. So going towards the net and quick puck decisions, those are 2 of the things that I saw in those 4 goals.
One of the things that I like after a tough loss, or even if it would have been a great win, but more especially after a tough loss, is you get right back at it. We don't have to have a 3 or 4 day layoff, man. Let's get this thing going, get back on the ice, and away we go.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, playing every other day now, we're done with the 2-day breaks, which kind of, throws you for a bit of a loop. But now we're playing every other day, and I would guarantee you the players have the same sentiment as you, PK. Like, just get us back out there. A day in between, it's enough time for everybody to get rest. Yeah. I mean, you had some guys play 30 minutes out there, which is nuts. I think Mikhail Sergachev played 30 minutes. You have enough time to get a break, but enough time where that hunger is still carrying over into Game 5. So obviously a massive game Wednesday, 8 o'clock Mountain Time coming up down at the Fortress, T-Mobile Arena. The Mammoths have already won there once in this series. They're going to have to win there again. You got to find a way to win 2 of the next 3. The way I see it, PK, you cannot have an exciting Game 7, and you cannot have a potential game-clinching scenario in Salt Lake City for Game 6 if the Mammoth win in 5. So we have everything right where we want it.
That would be awesome, man. I mean, I've always felt that as I've watched playoff sports for years and years, that it's so much better if the clincher is played in the home stadium, the home arena, whatever it might be, and the fans are going berserk. As a sports fan, that just adds to it. It's not quite the same. You'll take it, obviously, but it's not quite the same winning the clincher on the road. So have that opportunity if they win tomorrow, and then come back on a weekend and wow.
Oh yeah.
This town, it'll be reminiscent of the Jazz, and we've seen some of that. You know, I can see you guys weren't here obviously, and it's been a while since they've been in the playoff, but you know, this town really just comes alive when there's an opportunity to have a closeout, and to do it at home, to do it in Salt Lake is just awesome.
Well, somebody call Phil Jackson and tell him to break out the earplugs, because Friday night, Game 6 is going to be absolutely insane. And I'll end with this, PK. I think the pressure is on Vegas in Game 5.
I think you can make that argument, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're feeling good about their game, and they have every right to. But they want to win this one to give themselves a chance heading back in Game 6. If they lose Game 5, then all of a sudden the Mammoths are going to be able to use that home ice advantage at the Delta Center to try and clinch. So,
right, I think they would need a mulligan.
What's that?
They would need a mulligan. They would need that back pocket. Coming back here down 3-2, no. Coming here up 3-2, that's a whole nother story, because then you got a mulligan to play with. You want to close it out, but you still have got a mulligan in your back pocket if you need it. But being down 3-2 at that point, we're looking for momentum shifts. That would be the biggest of the series if the Mammoth find a way to be coming home up 3-2.
That's like me at Old Mill, a mulligan in my back pocket. I like to play a breakfast ball and a mulligan every 9. That's how I like to play. I offer the same to my partner, my playing partners. But that's my style.
When you see DJ, ask him, because he and I played that on Friday afternoon. We played 18, and the boy must have got tired. He struggled on the back 9, and he's relatively new to golf, and he's made great strides for sure.
So you're saying I have to play with DJ before I can play with PK? Like DJ's the minor leagues. I have to work my way up before I get to the show.
Well, I've been playing since I'm 15 years old. He really hasn't. I mean, it's just that. So that makes a big difference. We played from the Whites. I have a friend, and he wanted to play from the Whites, and so I was. I think I was 5 over.
Wow, that's a heck of a round. I thought about bringing the clubs to Vegas, but it's a work trip. So we'll be dialed in. Game 5, a lot to mull over while we avoid the clappers on the strip.
Well, I hope that we're talking to you next Tuesday about the second round series. We'll see how it goes. If not, we'll put a cap on the season. But I'm going to think positive for now.
Long way to go in this one. It is dead even. Best of 3 series, and it starts Wednesday, 8 o'clock Mountain, Game 5. Thanks, PK.
All right, that's Mike Folta. You can hear him on the call for every game for the Utah Mammoth. A lot of personality. We enjoy his time each week. Coming up next, we're going to get some TV perspective. Sam the Bam Farnsworth is going to join us. Stay with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.